Welcome, Mr. Kenny Phillips. How are you going, sir?
I good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Kenny, I in some problems here. I telling you before we start, I say, boy, I know if I could take enough time to do research for this, and I feel like them UE exams where you study just before you go in. And every time I look up something, I see something different. So tell me you're going. Today we're recording when Trinidad playing Jamaica in this Unity Cup, right? Mm-hmm. You carrying that on WACK. You gonna sort that out now?
Not on WACK. They just want me carry it on TTFA and wherever they tell
to stream for them?
Yeah. Well, they say they get a link.
Right.
So I have to just pull the link. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just get a call.
Right.
So I myself don't even know.
Yeah.
I just know I have to take the stream and send the stream.
Yeah. So, but that's something you've been doing more and more of. Like a lot of the things I saw during COVID a lot where I guess everything went to the socials.
Everything was remote. Everything was, everything was not in person.
Yeah.
Everything was masked.
So you end up being the man behind the scenes for a lot of them things that we enjoyed during COVID.
Yeah, well, I remember that time the government was paying everybody $5,000 for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. For the creators.
I'm like, wow.
I make it stretch.
That is 1 month grocery bill up to you. So before I had decided, just before the COVID, I was watching it and I said, look, I have a conference room there that me like to have meetings.
Right.
So when I got the conference room, put up a thing on the wall.
Right.
A thing looking like a curtain, like a Napa or Sapa curtain.
Right.
And let me sing some songs in front of it. And boom, COVID happened. And I was already setting that up. Mm-hmm. So it went fast.
Yeah, I can imagine. So you jump-started the thing then? You was there?
Yeah, over 500 shows.
Right. Serious since then?
Oh, well, during the COVID.
Oh, during COVID alone?
Yeah. So all everything that was gravy, everything. 500, brother. Every week was something. And we asked for donations. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was using Fund Me TNT.
Right.
And they were the portal, the e-commerce portal, right? So, and eventually I bought it and put that e-commerce portal onto my own website.
Right.
So that was just the beginning of there. And that is not only donations, but pay-per-view, etc.
Okay, I was not going to say how you make money because 5,000 divided by 500 shows, it is something like much per show, It's if that's what the government giving you. But you making the money otherwise.
The government was giving.
It's like a grant.
Yeah, a grant.
Oh, I see. So
what we used to do our shows, like the first show I did was Terry Lyons, and she made $24,000 in an hour and a half.
Nice.
In donations.
Right.
So they say like,
thing to do.
Something happened. But it depends on the artist, depends on the songs, depends on the performance. Mm-hmm. Ronnie and Super made real money. That's how people, I had Blacks a few times. I had Blacks about 3 times. Mm-hmm. I had Singing Sandra. I had Dennis Plummer.
Right.
And what it is, I was saying that I have these people before they pass.
Of course,
I have their, because a lot of people some youngsters don't even know them. And I have it like say, well, this is this one and this is that one. And,
Important part of the thing to me because you're talking to people who sometimes I was telling Eddie Charles when he was here, I say, Eddie, younger people know you as a soca parang man. They don't know what he was doing. I hear somebody ask you if he's a guitarist recently. I say, and what was a good interview? I like her interviews a lot. Yeah. But it just shows that we had a doctor.
Young people don't know. Mm-hmm. Young people don't know me.
Yeah.
And they think I'm a radio man.
Right, yeah.
Far from the truth. Radio by force.
Yeah.
I'm a guitar player. Mm-hmm. Let me start there. Right. That's it. That's why I know your father.
Yeah.
I was in Chandelier. Mm-hmm. I was in Chandelier when he was in Song Rem.
Right.
In fact, I was in Majors before Chandelier.
Right. So Majors was one of your earliest bands you had said, right?
Well, Walter School of Music first. Mm-hmm. I played in the band there, not in the school, but in the band.
Right.
And then from Walter School of Music, I went to Majors, and then from Majors to Chandelier.
Oh.
From Chandelier, I think I did Carl and Carol Jacobs.
Got you.
And
so who's lead singer in Chandelier when you joined there?
Carl.
Oh, it's Carl now.
Carl, and always every carnival used to bring a guy from Antigua. Mm-hmm. And you used to have little lead singers in between.
All right.
Ronnie used to come forward from Knocking Iron and sing them rapping songs and eventually he became a big lead singer.
Yeah. That's where you started, rhythm section.
Yeah. I saw that evolution, Yeah.
You see a lot because I keep looking at this thing and I say, all right, well, Kenny, come and let me go through some of your discography. Mm-hmm. And I tell myself I'm doing something wrong, because when I see some of these songs, I say something ain't right. I see Gimme the Thing. You listed as guitarist on that. Kitchener. This 80s, early 80s kind of thing.
I play about 8 or 9 years straight for Kitchener.
Recording studio?
Yeah. I used to work with Leston. Leston is my mentor. Leston teach me a lot.
You had to say Leston Paul, right?
Sorry,
for people
Mr. Leston Paul. The great Leston Paul.
Yeah.
He probably had the most hits of anybody in the soca industry. Probably followed not so closely or closely by Frankie McIntosh and Pelham Goddard.
Right.
Daisy Mende, Leston, Pelham, Frankie. Yeah. I don't think you have any other name.
Yeah, I don't know another name.
Right. And I am a far forth.
Yeah, I'm a far forth.
I'm just happy to be called in the same sentence as these guys.
Right, that's fair.
Because I am a bit lucky because I'm a guitarist. These guys are keyboard players.
Right.
So there was a disparity, you're a guitarist, guitarists will really be arrangers and producers, But I follow in the footsteps of Nile Rodgers.
Right.
Nile Rodgers of Sheep.
Yeah, I heard you telling a story about that.
Yeah.
So somebody was here and they were talking about that opening lick you playing, Feeling It. One of the most iconic pieces of music. Like some soca, they have a signature to them. The hook good, but instrumentalists. I mean, you might be the one who could boast of many, many of them things. But Feeling It was one of them special ones.
It was special.
Yeah.
It was very special. We don't know what happened. We just play. Leston say, you start.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. And that's it.
So you just play where you feel at that point.
Yeah, I was feeling it.
Yeah. But you have a good sense of Baron. You with Leston long time by that point.
I know Baron before Leston. I know Baron from Bamboo Village.
Yeah.
Understand? Mind you, back in the days, I used to be a band jumbie.
Right.
So I used to go through San Fernando, even Superior, and look for bands, just to listen to bands, because it's something I was into. You go down, where's that street, boy? Down behind where WACK is, they had a band practicing. I don't know if it was Solid 7 or some one of them bands, and stand up and listen. Used to go Laramine, they used to have one called Free Soil. Straight, and I used to like that. We used to go to Superior, had this boy, keyboardist, Insinus, Stephen Insinus, had a band called, I think it was Heat Wave. There's a time I went up to that place on Superior Street and checking a band, and a man playing a vibes on a big silver vibraphone.
Right.
Andre Tanker.
I see.
Yeah, and I knew nothing of nothing, and I just bouncing up on these things. I looking, we used to run down band.
So you strap up a guitar when you're going?
No.
Or you're just going to listen?
I was nobody. I just going to Mako.
Oh, so this before you were really playing?
Yeah. And I was into it.
So what led you to being so into music in the first place?
I found out very late from my father. I thought I was in my 40s.
Right.
My father said, my mother used to teach piano, I'm like, what? Man, telling me that after 40 years, I only time I think as a horn child. Why you now telling me that? So and was confirmed by my aunt, who was down here the other day, and she was confirming some things. And his mother, but she died young, but she used to teach piano.
I see.
So I realized, this thing really, the lineage is pure. It's sure.
It's in you.
So, because I watching my granddaughter taking one of these bottles and she's sitting on the ground with a pot spoon and bang, 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 bang. She's not 2 yet. You understand?
I rhythm.
Whoa. And enjoying herself, and she good for a while,
Yeah.
So I realized it
there. Like I hear, so even with family, you say your sister guitar is where you start off with as your first pick up.
Napriva Girls, prestige school thing,
Up top.
Yeah, so you have to buy a recorder,
right,
and you have to buy a guitar, and you're going to school. So my sister have all of that. Me, the rebel, what's she guitar? Hey, so she showed me 4 chords, and I like that. I like this. I like it. I like it. But do not touch my guitar anymore. That's it. Do not. And she gone to sleep, put the guitar up on the cupboard. And if you see a boy sneaky and go take the guitar, and you're just sticking it, bong.
Yeah.
Real movie thing, you know. Go on downstairs and strum away and move the bridge.
Yeah.
And I really was interested in this. I didn't know the tune the thing. I was just playing.
Right.
I would move the bridge, and when I finish, I'm going to put it back.
Easy.
Next
you forget
morning,
to go back the bridge.
Next morning, Mommy, talk to Kenny now. The bridge all over the place. And my mother said, you get your own guitar. You know. I said, all right. And I got my own guitar and went to classes. And the first day, the opening of the book, I was by a guy named Mr. Gaskin.
Right.
And the first day, I finished the book, the whole book. When he realized, oh, okay, all right. And we end up to down in the end of the lessons and thing, me and Mr. Gaskin used to just be jamming, you know.
Playing music.
It wasn't teacher, we was jamming. He used to get hot. He's one man who taught me, when you play like it's the last time you'll ever play, you give all. When you're playing, when he get hot, he take a guitar, turn it over and start to beat it. It was real vibes. He teach me vibes. Teach me vibes. You know?
So you're going through that thing in learning, but with the 4 chords that you know, that's plenty song, yeah?
Yeah.
So you're playing different genres, you're playing anything at that point in time.
Yeah, it was real fun. Those were the days.
Like people who learn it or people who could play an instrument might understand how hard it is to finish that book. Most people on that first page just sweated.
No, but when I realized when I go in and do this, I dig into the book and I go on. You know, I really enjoyed that. Right. I just sleep with the guitar on my bed. My mother bought me my first real guitar. I had a acoustic guitar, and I had a old buggy, which I still have it? I don't even know. I have a few guitars as well. And the old buggy was the old buggy.
Right.
So when I say old buggy, it was a green guitar.
Right. So it's electric at this point?
Yeah, that was the first electric. And I actually went by Mr. Gaskin, who was a carpenter, and he sat it down and he make it the sunburst and nice. But it was an old buggy. Now to get in the game, you have to have an instrument. To play in the studio, you have to have a studio instrument.
Right.
And I mean, I've been studying the thing. My dream was to be a studio rat. So my friend, another one of my teachers, Jimmy Brown, he's come down every year and play in Kaiser House, and you know, and we're talking really years ago. He brought a guitar and I bought it from him. I think it was 5,000, 6,000. It was just big money back in the days.
Imagine.
My mother went and take a loan, and I put part, she put part, and you know, and she said, "Don't let your father see this." Like, whoa. And after some months and thing with there, one day my father passed, and he walked past me. Where you gonna?
You know something.
I would.
I just don't answer.
I've lived to see the day that he said, my son is a guitarist, and my son is a musician. And like,
yeah.
Because normally, musicians, it's not a job that you want for your children.
Even back then?
Yeah. You want to be a doctor, lawyer, police, a
since
job,
then, boy,
a real job.
It's still so, you know.
Yeah, but musician was not, I want to be a musician. My father said, you want to starve?
Yeah.
You know, things have changed. Well, let me say that I made it work for me.
Right.
To make a living out of music wasn't easy. It wasn't I can't say I'm planning this and I'm going to do that. I cut in the path. I don't know where, but somewhere it's gonna go. A musician. I left the bank for salary. Leave the bank.
And Daddy must be worried. No, he was going on this man.
No, but at that time, I was making more money home than in the bank.
Okay.
I ain't gonna leave.
Yeah, just so.
You know. But everybody say, you're a madman, but you leave the bank. The bank used to be paying you, I think was $7,000 a month, which was big money.
Yes, good money back then, good money now.
But in recording and stuff, you could make $5,000 a day.
Yeah.
If you're really mercenary, you could make $5,000, you know. So it really, it wasn't a hard decision.
Gotcha.
But I was own way and miserable. So like I would go to work and have ideas. I always have ideas. And I'm watching the line. I was the customer service representative, and I'm watching the line, you know, Mountain and Penal.
Right.
And everybody who had to give thumbprint and them kind of thing. And I'm watching the line. I say, why don't we do the one line and have the persons, as they do now, they go to wherever cashier you want to go to, but we have one line.
Right.
So I was the CSR, so to me, that's my call. So I changed the thing and I fix it up early in the morning. And when the accountant, the boss, come in, like, who changed this?
Yeah.
Who did this? I said, I do it. I said, we could try it today and see. No, you can't do that just so. You like, no, put it back. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Me? That's all. And I go upstairs. I hereby resign as right now.
You taking this thing serious?
No, I hold reverence to my ideas. These things don't come. Not everybody's have them. So when you have let's try this and let's see if it can work. Let's do this. Give me a little something now. Don't just, no, we can't do that. With no reasoning. No,
of course.
No, not today. Let's do tomorrow. Nothing like that.
Yeah, zero.
No. Like, nah, let me keep my ideas for me and my work and my thing. You keep your bank.
Yeah.
And I go on.
Yeah. You know, I do entrepreneurship classes, right? And they talk about that, because entrepreneurship is that ease when a man goes on his own. But they have a thing called entrepreneurship, where you stay in the business.
Yeah.
But you use that innovation and ideas to help the business.
The business always wants it.
No, yes, I find it's something that people feel threatened sometimes.
You have to be, because you changing the whole status quo. You know, people just want ideas, but they don't want to change. So how you could want ideas and not want to change?
Yeah.
And that was Trinidad's problem, you know. They want people with innovative out of the box.
Right.
But you're putting them in the box to stay in the box. Don't come out of the box. If you stay in that box, this is how it has been working. This is how it's going to go.
Of course.
But it's not working.
Yeah. We do accept that it's not working.
It's
sometimes.
not working. You realize it's not working?
We like the expression of ideas. We like to talk about ideas. I don't know if we really like to see ideas become things. You know, sometimes it's just the
and the thing is, nobody trying to show you up. Nobody trying to. You're just trying to get something better.
It's to make the thing better.
And, oh, my brother, it's a war.
Well, you're in the heart of it. You're in the heart of the war. So as you bring up the idea of monetizing and making money out of the culture or the music, we are going and start being a studio. That's where you first start making the money, right? How you get into a studio to record? You just hang around and your name was out?
From playing in Walter School of Music, I was miserable. We were a little band in San Fernando. Used to play on the promenade regular, play a cover band, play pop song, and we found that we was good.
Right.
We feel it was good. Right? We was a nice little band, really a nice, good sounding band.
Right.
This be before big PA system and all that kind of thing. Is amps and
okay,
right? Nice little band. Yeah. Somebody hear us and say, hey, I want to hire all you to do a party in Monday Blue.
Right.
What? We get a party.
Good.
We get a party, boy. The party just happened to be on, I think it's Old Year's Night in Monday Blue.
Right.
And New Year's Day, Walter School of Music had a running show that they shoot for TTT, showing the students playing Here Comes Santa, and Jingle Bell and whatnot.
Right.
The guitar, violin. So they shoot that show in Hilton every New Year's Day. And here we have now a party Old Year's Night.
Yeah,
New Year's Day. I said, no problem, that's cool. We, from the party, we go to Hilton. And to me, I always want to be a musician who touring and you're going from gig to gig and that.
Okay, so you're living for that.
I said, nice, it's good. Right. Mistress Walters come downstairs and say, you all know, we have that shoot and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah? And? No, we can't do it. I said, what do you mean you can't do it? We leave from there and we go here. We hire a taxi, maxi, whatever, and we go here. Musicians do that all the time. And I'm trying to, this is now we getting up.
Yeah.
She said, no, you can't do it. I say, I joined this band. No, I can't be disrespectful to the lady here.
Of course.
I joined this band to be a musician. Here I am getting the opportunity to be a musician. And you are telling me, no, we cannot do it. I said, well, thank you. This is here for me. I done. And I size up and I'd say, well, I done. I forget that the amp I playing is not one of them little Fender Twin. It's one of the tall 6-buck.
From back in the day.
So hear me, I done. Let me, Curtis, help me carry this amp upstairs.
You can't stop more. This is the bank again.
I'm going to pick up my amp and this, something. I said, Curtis, let me carry this amp.
Yeah.
Curtis is remember that all. But I left the band then, and immediately I got while I was with the band, we did a Rolls Royce gig.
Right.
And the guys, some majors, heard me. Oh, this is sorry getting to the studio. Right? Keep me on track.
Yeah, with you.
So they heard me and they come and say, you sound good, you want to come and play with us? I said, well, I can't play with Olefa with this band. That's me. I with this band.
Principle.
Unless something happened. All right. And then something happened.
Yeah.
So I ended up in majors. And in majors, they were the ultimate cover band. Yeah. They were the Michael Jacksons.
Oh, gotcha.
They had a fro. I didn't have no fro. I had a frightened fro. So we played and thing. I was in majors for 3 years. I met Leston Paul. Leston used to gig with majors.
Think he won.
Yeah. Every so often, whenever a big show, they pull in Leston.
Right.
And bounce up Leston and you say, you ever play in the studio? I'm like, no, that's why I want to go. You say, all right, meet me so time, so. I'm like, huh?
Right. So at this time, he's a ranger, he known and a lot.
Listen, man, Leston got his break at 19, doing Duke, Hearts of Gold.
He will be so young then.
Yeah. So this is in the 20-somethings now. So he called me and we go on, and the first song I did was Grabbler. And I go on in the studio and I could play.
Right.
But I not necessarily read and play.
Right.
And Fortuna Reese had to point me through every
bar by bar
and repeat here.
Yeah.
And I met him in a funeral. I met him in Earl Rodney, Fortuna Reese. I met him in Earl Rodney's funeral. I say, you remember helping me that first gig? No. I said, you don't know that you changed my life, right? You don't know that.
You changed the sound of soca music forever too.
I won't go so far. But I mean, I gotta feel.
Of course.
I've seen situations in the studio where men could not and fail. They say, all right, brother, check with you next time. You know, that kind of way. I've been in situations where I failed already too. And the embarrassment is so big. You go home and
any month to go back there.
Yeah. So no, he's not a buffalo work.
Right.
You understand? So that's how I got into the studio.
Yeah.
But mind you, from being in the studio now and playing in the studio, and it was KH at the time. It's KH and went to Coral.
Where are those studios?
Sealots.
Also,
I've been in Sealots. I've been in the one up in the mountains. Shark.
Right.
One when you come outside, you see monkeys and whatnot. So those are the major studios. Sealots, Shark.
Right.
That one down, is it Wrightson Road? I think I played there once or twice. I can't remember his name, but Stalin used to record there.
Oh, I see.
So I've been in the studio. Yeah. And from being in that studio and watching technology, I say, I got to open my own studio, you know. And Leston and Eric Michaud roll on the ground laughing at me.
When you say,
they say, you effing mad, you go out of my, I say, you go out of my studio and I tried it. Because, you know, the machine was a big 2-inch machine with the 24 tracks. That is the standard. Tape rolling, big. But here I am going to open my studio with a 1/4-inch tape.
I see. So the trend is what it's
8 tracks alone.
Right.
So the math was, you take 7 tracks, and on the 8th track, you put a sync code. And on that sync code now, you could push to a live sequencer.
Right.
So the sequencer now plays the drums, the keyboards, whatever could sequence.
Right.
So whatever can sequence, you record on tape. Voice, guitar, pump and bass, background vocals. So before you even start to record, before you even start to hear the music, you have to now calculate.
Yeah, we'll go on the 8 tracks. Or 7.
Yeah, 7.
Oh.
Right? So you have to now figure out, okay, if I do 6 tracks of background vocals, I had to bounce it down to 2. Your maths had to be real, and it wasn't easy.
Yeah, so for people who you're talking physical now, cut on,
Yeah.
So I was just telling my son this the other day, he watching how I edited the episodes.
Right.
And he wasn't understanding the cut, copy, paste.
Right.
And I said, I bring him back to a video of a fellow who's doing movies. And I say, when the men say cut, copy, paste, they mean cut physically. And when they say on the cutting room floor is a real thing, you know what I mean? So you...
Back in them days, cutting was... You cut the tape at an angle, triangle, same, so that the next triangle will seamlessly, so you hear the sound of this one into the sound of this one, so you don't miss. So you'll cut it and you'll take that tape and hang it up. So you'll have, look, the verse here,
right?
The chorus. Okay. And we will, you know, I used to do that on cassette and all.
Do that little tape.
I remember giving one of my editing blocks to a youngster. Check this story. This lady bring her son by me and say, my son like this thing, boy. I was getting emotional when I talk this story. She like this thing, boy. So see what you could do now. I said, just bring him, no problem. This little Rasta boy come. I say, all right, you like this thing? All right, just watch and ask questions. I was doing the Lamo or something at the time because he remembered the song. I didn't remember. And I gave him a editing block to fool around, and he talking and we laughing, and nice. And this little boy left and went abroad to school.
Right.
Fast forward 15 years. I am in St. Lucia doing St. Lucia Jazz. I did St. Lucia Jazz as a band for like about 4 years straight. I used to back up people and stuff. And I got a call while I'm on stage, song checking. Kenny! I say, hey, who's this? Decky, boy. I say, Decky. All right, what happening? On the stage here, on the Grammy stage, collecting a Grammy, and I said to call you and tell you thanks. Like, sure.
Yeah, who's this?
What? Okay, cool, eh? Nice. I didn't believe him. I didn't even know who it was. I didn't remember. Boom, a few months after, this man comes by me with the Grammy. He said, look, it was you. I said, boss, take that and carry it to your mother's house. What's wrong with you? Let your mother see that every day.
Of course, yeah. She had to be proud of that.
Do you know that boy became the #1 engineer in the world? He was engineering. He got his break doing The Boy's Mind from Monica and Brandy. He engineered Destiny's Child, Beyoncé, Michael Jackson, you name it.
Yeah.
His name is Dexter Simmons. You do not know, when you show somebody something or tell somebody something, you don't know where that is going to go. So you always give them your best. I have some people around me who just hide. And when I say hide, they would not show you this and they would not show you that, and they would keep this from me because whatever. I just give it. I just give it.
Yeah.
Because They are not me, I'm not them. Their part is not mine, you know. Even if your thief work from it, that's one work. You know what I mean? It have much more. I will be me, you will be you. So I will tell you. Sometimes I telling people things, I telling my boys things, hey, and they don't take me on. They don't take me on at all. And then come back the next day and say, you know, this thing, I say, but isn't that what I tell you yesterday? Yeah, but you didn't say so.
Yeah. People is getting a message when they're ready to get it.
Sometimes their brain not ready. They're not ready for it, you know. So I am Dexter has been a mentor of mine. He's my mentor. I was his mentor.
Yeah, you showed him the way.
Yeah. But some things I remember bringing him down for a course. The course costed over $90,000. I was the acting president of Riot, Recording Industry Association. I said, we have to do this. Because here we have one of ours who has made it, who engineering the global sound. And we here fighting up in Trinidad, pokaliki,
how to make this
and how to
global.
make it international. So the name of the course was Engineering the Global Sound. Why they song like that and why we song like this. And we brought him down. I didn't know where I'm getting money from. I asked the government. I said, we doing this. And it was in Amar Studio. We brought him for 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks, boy. Yeah. Men flying from St. Lucia. My son. That was, I saw my big son, Casey. I saw when he nubbed tune. I hear the switch go clicks.
Yeah.
And Casey started to see and hear differently. You understand? He became a techie.
Right.
I mean, he was always in it, but this man turned a switch and Casey became this guru.
What age you to be done?
You know, I mean, 12 to 15, somewhere there. Right? I mean, started to discuss frequencies and discuss things. I'm like,
that age.
Whoa.
Different.
Whoa, what's happening here? But this guy, the first thing we were always discussing, you know, that kick drum. Why them kick drum the song so on? Why we just there? And this man show us something with the kick drum. He said, I don't use compression, you know, this is straight kick drum. And they were like, what? And when he finished explaining thing, my partner from St. Lucia said, Gaston, I'm going home. I said, I'm going home. This is the first thing he explained. I'm done. I'm going home.
Make him question everything you know already.
No, the techniques, we just didn't know. A lot of, back in them days, didn't have no internet to Google.
No. So even when you say you're going around looking for bands, I wonder if people understand you got to just ask around, show up somewhere.
Hey, have a band by so. They don't Google. They don't maps. You just go in.
You just figure it out as you go along.
Listen, I was so enthused by technology. I used to be on bulletin boards. You know, some CompuServe bulletin boards. The screen was blue. And it was just text. Right? And you used to hear the dial-up. You know that sound, right? And when at the end of the month you get a bill for $20,000.
Them days you pay for internet by the hour.
I pay to learn.
All of us, everybody. People must remember that.
Back in the days, it didn't have magazines. Used to be our internet. So I used to have guitar player, mix magazines.
Yeah, subscribe and they come in once a month kind of thing.
Whenever they come, because the stores didn't used to bring it like regularly. Like they will bring Cosmopolitan and them thing and Red Book.
Yeah, any kind of specific thing like music or tech.
So you always looking, you always,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how it was.
Yeah. But that, you have a defiant spirit, Kenny, the bank manager tell you, put back the thing in, what the thing. Imagine Leston Paul telling you laugh. That's something could break a next man if somebody like that say, you can't do a studio.
Yeah.
I'll say most people might say, it's
okay,
true.
Okay.
So where's that in you to decide that them men laughing and you know what you're going to do?
But if I feeling it in my spirit, if I seen it, I feeling it, this could be done. This could be done. I could do this. Who are you to tell me I can't do it and you never do it? You never try it? You never walk them steps? How you could tell me it can't be done? How you know? Well, you did it and you fall down on it. And I have lived to see Leston have a home studio. After he laughed at me.
Yeah.
That's like, I went, I told them, I'm going to do a radio station playing local music. Again, the chairman or the chairman of the TTPBA, Trinidad and Tobago Publishers and Broadcasters, said to me, quote unquote, you feel people want to hear that music 24/7, 365? You have to be a wacko. I said, wacko? Okay.
You just waiting for somebody to tell you that.
Okay. WACK, W-A-C-K. We are culture crazy. So every single day, I stick it to that, man.
Yeah, let him know he's a wacko living.
People call like, hey, I'm a wackonian. And it has now, it's a cult, it's a movement, it's a following, it's our music thing you were here for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The man said, who want to hear that music? Like,
yeah.
I think the problem that he was kind of Caucasian to us, so that would have been worse.
Yeah.
That was worse.
It hit your spirit.
Yeah. It was one of we. I said, all right,
yeah, you might ignore that.
I said,
yeah, that music have a different ring.
The music I do in my whole life.
Yeah, they get
you are telling me that nobody want to hear this? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's me. Okay.
Evidently.
Okay. All right.
And you're proving it to them. So going into the spaces like Leston, because you're talking about an era where local music was not dominating the airwaves if it was played a lot at all. You only making music that not being played in mainstream radio.
Yeah. So I remember when it clicked to me that I had to have a radio station, I was sitting down in a small studio and Kess's mother was singing a contemporary song. Kess and them used to live like some streets away in Palmis. Bonnie Differentala and the Differentalas, right? And she came to sing and she was singing. She used to sing like my mother. My mother used to do them, to dream, the impossible dream, and them kind of thing, contemporary songs. And the lady's singing nice. I was like, wait, sir. Where we playing this? Who playing this music? The lady singing good. But where they would not accept
is
it.
The outlet?
Where can I play this? If it was a calypso, then I'll say with you, guess and play Carnival.
Right.
If it was a soca, we go jump up. But a contemporary, and I was doing it all the time. Everybody used to be recording. And I'm like, where are we playing this music? We gotta find a place.
Yeah.
We gotta make a place.
Yeah, so that's what the seed planted for you from that.
Man. I organized and did a license and drop it in the minister at the time. Is it public administration? One of them, because they didn't have a communications or whatever thing. It had to be public utilities or something like that. Was Ralph Maraj.
Okay.
And he was my teacher from Nabrima.
Oh, okay.
So I feel well.
Yeah, as a man of the culture too. He's a cultural man
Went
too.
home by him.
Nice.
And drop it. And I give him it. I say, right. We inside. 1 year pass. 2 year pass. 5 year pass. And I seen, I have an application inside it. I think.
Yeah.
And I was, I was on all kind of committees and boards and whatnot. I was doing the wrongs and thing, and I realized doing the wrongs, trying to do things in Trinidad. And I was the vice president of COT.
Right.
So I know the Airplay situation. I know it dire, it bad. We are under 4% local Airplay in Trinidad.
And all across radio stations?
Across all. And it was, at that time, now it's 40. At that time, it wasn't 40. It would have been about, might have been 12 or somewhere around there. 40 was a jump.
Right.
Right? It went from 12 to 40. Or 39, actually.
Right. Okay.
And I see, but this thing, yeah.
And then it was 4%? Even taking Carnival into consideration?
4%.
Yeah?
Right now, it still is.
4% of all the music played?
It is.
Oh, well, I guess, yeah. Because
is.
dancehall and hip-hop and all them things might dominate.
We just only get everything behind them 2 months of carnival.
Mm.
I mean, these days are different, other, playing the music a little more, but it still is for...
I suppose it's true, because I think in urban stations, but when you think of all the other stations, it's
all kind of thing. Everything. We played everything. We belong to everybody else but ourselves, So, it's back to the story. Years pass. That lady was my friend from being in all those meetings and stuff. I met a lady was working Kent House up Maraval, the roundabout, a little nook there. There was a government ministry there.
Oh, yeah, I know the place.
She calls me and says, Mr. Phillips, are you still interested in your radio station? I say, yeah, I'm waiting on a call. This years, I wait on a call. Well, I just wanted to know, I'm looking at a lot of stuff in a dump here. They're dumping a lot of stuff, and your application is in it. Are you still interested? And just because she know me, never she sees, I say, yeah. Nobody never called me and say, well, nothing. They were dumping it. She pick it up and put it back in. That is how we get it. Then, I called her sometime recently, after our radio being in existence for 15 years. I called her to tell her, thanks, it's because of you. Because that in the dump would have been gone.
That would be the end of that.
The end.
Yeah. And
then Joe Neil Williams, because when we marched the road for local content, we wanted them to legislate 50%.
Okay. Not happening?
They wasn't doing that.
Yeah, she was Minister of Culture at the time.
She said, we can't do the legislation, but what I'll do, I'll give 3 of y'all licenses.
Oh, I see.
And she gave me WACK Radio, Iwer.
Oh, 91.
At the time, he was 91.9 Soca Bashment. And Solomon. And he was 91 point, if a 91.
Yeah, 1.1 and 0.9, yeah.
Right. He was 91.1, which was before his 91.1. And we got community licenses, meaning Iwer was point, 16 kilometers from point. So he not even supposed to reach Sando. I was Sando, not even supposed to reach Couva. And the next one was, right here, Curep.
Right.
Curep.
So they used to do community license separate from a national license?
That was the first set of community license ever granted. But I was just happy to get a license, right? I was just happy hey, we inside. It didn't have people when we here, well, we are not here. Yeah. But then it have people when we here getting
licenses.
When you look at the other people who had licenses, it wasn't us.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't us. It would be French Creole, Chinese.
Of course.
All the Indian stations in Indian.
Right.
But none of us.
And what year this is? About what time?
Well, my radio station is 20 years old.
Okay.
So 20 years ago. So, we start. Iwer start first. But Iwer always first. Busy. And he start. And he say, Kenny, I can do this point 14 thing now. I go in. Iwer put up receiver and transmitter all the way to tongue.
He ain't going through that community thing.
Tall. I'm like, Iwer, what you doing? They ain't walking from me now. So Iwer was big and bad and cool.
Right, yeah.
Me, I started probably the following year in my little space with my little 16 kilometers. I start my antenna on San Fernando Hill. Right. Whenever anything break down, I had to run up San Fernando Hill and fix it.
Yourself.
Oh boy, was a trip. And you're not even supposed to be hearing in tongue.
Right.
And Solomon started. And he was doing alternative.
Okay.
Rock. Anything alternative.
Oh, so he wasn't local. His goal wasn't to be local.
Local
rock.
Local
okay,
alternative.
Okay, gotcha.
Everything was local.
Okay, so those
I was local at the time. Soca. As Calypso and Soca.
Right.
He was but Iwer was 91.9. 91.9. Solomon was 92.1.
Oh.
Remember, that's community here. I was 91.9 and he's all here. So the two of them end up in a rango. I called two of them to a meeting by me. Solomon and Iwer. to them fighting one another, court and all kind of. I said, hey, look at this. Look at us. Why are we fighting one another? And we have a battle to fight out there. We can't be fighting here. We need to band together and so we can survive.
Right.
Man say, that man feel it too big and and I'm like, yo, stop fighting. Let me go fight the battle out there. Court and all kind of thing, and one thing into the next. One is gone and one remains.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
You understand? I don't want to go into all them details.
Yeah.
But you're fighting the wrong battles. These men and them fighting the wrong battles. You don't need to fight one another. Or look at that, reason that out.
Yeah, reason that behind the scenes and go again, yeah.
But it is what it is. So that was the advent of the community, and we have since gone national.
Okay.
We're full national.
Yeah, officially changed the license.
Right.
Okay.
But it didn't make sense because we went immediately, we went online. So 20 years now, we're online. We were online when TSTT didn't even have the bandwidth for we to go online. They didn't have nothing.
Right, yeah.
There was 512K.
Hey, remember this?
You're streaming on this song.
Yes.
You're sounding like you're underwater.
Yeah.
You know, we've been through some days. I remember a man called us in the earlys from Iraq. I said, but this ain't making no sense.
Yeah.
Why are you blocking me at 16 kilometers and a man coming from Iraq? It makes no sense.
Oh, see, the thing changed.
It changed. We actually, I said this the other day, Anna, we could be, WACK, and Iwer to some degree, could be the reason or the end or the demise of pirate radio in New York.
So yeah, they're listening to you more than anybody else.
Because pirate radio, they used to have a geographical span. You hit a corner here, gone. Hit a corner, they come back.
Yeah.
And you know the FCC always looking for them and things.
Shut down.
You know, I wonder how the FCC feeling now that men could go online on the computer.
They're look for other words.
You're just fighting only men and things. But probably the bandwidth and But now anybody open up a laptop and I can open my laptop now and broadcast.
Same thing I say about the studio, because now every artist have a studio. That home studio is a man recording in their car.
Yeah.
It's pretty much anywhere.
I did a TV show one time. I didn't even know that, but called Building the Beats. Because everybody, me with my ideas, everybody have a laptop as a producer.
Right, of course.
And you go to the producer and they say, I have a song. You say, no, you're singing to this beat. I said, but I'm not a producer, I'm a beat builder. So I said, all right, let's do a competition of beat builders.
Okay.
And how to teach these beat builders to be a producer. So every week, there's a challenge. Like the very first challenge was we give them a sample. We give them a sample of Chokas, Chuba Dubai, a sample of Sparrow. Ude. Then it's Plumber. What is this? We give them samples of everybody. And then build a beat, chop it up, slice it, do whatever, but build a beat incorporating this sample. Right? And halfway through the beat, we say, oh, by the way, halfway through the beat while they're building, we bring in now the younger samples. Integrate this younger sample in with your beat. And everybody get like Bungie going, brr. Now they're going, what's that? You know, the younger people now.
Course.
And you know, so that was challenge number one.
Yeah.
And the winner of challenge number one on that episode was Michael Teja.
Serious. Look at him now.
He was 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah. But I was talking to, I think it's Muhammad from Freetown.
Yeah.
And I was telling him, Michael Teja, them fellas and them was here before. When I listened to his interpretation, interpretation of classics.
Yeah.
Plenty people try to interpret classics and they don't come out good.
I said in the episode, he was actually with the guitar, trying to record in the guitar on the laptop. He didn't have a mic.
I see. So my laptop. Yeah. I didn't see that. I didn't see that at 14.
There was a challenge. There was a challenge in one of those. Because my idea is to teach these youngsters is You have to interpret the person's music, not put the rhythm and say, sing to that. A producer is a producer, not a beat builder, right? That was my whole thing.
Right.
And I carry them in Bagua and Sings. And say, make music from only what's on the shelves of Bagua and Sings. No guitar, no bass, no nothing.
Right.
Only what's on the shelves. That was the best episode.
Yeah, you must have
listen, the man take some tiles and smash it and recording that and running through the hardware. It was good fun.
Yeah.
If you hear the music they produce.
Yeah.
Because it was unconventional.
Of course.
You had to check it.
I'd ask you because now that I bring that up, the building up beats and the rhythm thing. Like I keep asking artists about that, and maybe we could say your perspective on it because when you build a rhythm, and you ask an artist, the vocal must have the least flexibility out of all the instrument, right? So you're asking artists to come in
and write on the bit,
record and so on. I wonder if sometimes it constricts the creativity of the artist, or the counter of the argument is that it makes it a little easier for some people to get through.
It's easy to just you have boom boom, you just say da da da, you put a melody and then you write the words, right? But you become a co-writer with the man who built the beat. Because my beat. If you didn't have this beat, you wouldn't have a melody.
So when I see co-writing credits, it may not be words. It might
not be words. It's the melody or the music or whatever,
Okay.
So I have no problem with it. It just, it's overdone sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes I have too much people on one rhythm. It's not special anymore.
That special part is the one that, my father and I, we always back and forth with this because Baron has a signature style and sound and even look and all that, right? And all the artists, Kitchener, all the men you work with, Super Blue, Machel, and now you see it with Teja and them. I'll admit that they different. But I wonder if we went through an era there where everybody kind of just gets same. Just so similar.
Yeah. One is because they don't have most of their own songs. When you're on a rhythm, you're not special. Your song might be good, the next song not that good. And if you realize that everything making the double back and is coming back to calypso.
Yeah, you see, this year particular
the big rhythm with Machel bet me. Old calypso rhythm. And I love that. It making the circle. Just now I'll become relevant again. No?
Yeah. I just want to relevant again. I have another question on that. Beat builders understand producers. What is the arranger? Because a long time you used to hear a lot of people say somebody's an arranger, and now you hear producer more. What's the difference?
All right. The arranger actually scores or directs the arrangement of the song.
Right.
He will be the horns, the guitar. This is the key. This is the chord structure. You put this progression here. You write all the music.
Right.
Only this is when they used to write music. You write all the music, and people will come in and read, and that's the arranger. That's what I know arranger to be. The producer is the man who, usually the executive producer spends the money.
Right.
The producer is the man who says, play it in this style. I want it in gospel. I want it in chutney.
Right.
I want it to. He shapes the music.
I understand.
The arranger scores it. Well, he could just arrange and hand the producer and go. And you're singing that in a bad way. You have to sing it like this. I like that. He now shapes the whole thing.
Gotcha.
Right? And what again he asks? Beat.
Yeah, I understand the beat builder.
Right.
Yeah, but I understand now why it more
I used to be a beat builder back in my days. I was a drum machine man.
Right.
So I used to do drum machine for a guy called Kenny Wallace, an arranger. And we did all Spring Garden and Fire and Inez and Red Plastic Bag. And whenever they come in, I used to be the man on the rhythm machine.
Serious?
Yeah, and all the toms. And then I'll play. And, so, I was a beat builder, So.
Yeah, you walk all the road. So at that point in time, going back to your studio experience, Leston and them been telling you what to play, or by that time you playing where you feel?
No, at the beginning they had to tell me what to play.
Right.
In the early, it's like, I have no idea. I mean, I have my style.
Right.
But he'll play like this, play like that. Da, da, da. But eventually, you get comfortable and you become you're confident and say, this song like this. Yeah. It's only if it's totally against what happened. You say, no. Do so.
Right, okay.
You know. But when you develop yourself, you could just play.
Yeah. So I have a list of people who you work with, but it might be easier to ask you who you ain't work with, because when I see Kitchener come, that gave me the thing shock. I was like, oh yeah, this could be. You got to be real young playing them things in studio.
I was early 20s.
And from then you play in studio, but they go into tents and play with a different band and that kind of thing.
I didn't do the tent thing.
So a man had to try to replicate what you do when they go in, because I always ask bassmen this, right? There's some bass lines so signature, you can't drift from it if you go and play. You play so much riffs that you can't play feeling it if you don't hear that.
You know that I used to be in the band in Chandelier and feeling it come out, and I was the lead guitarist in Chandelier. Not the rhythm guitar.
Gotcha. So the rhythm guitar to figure that out.
Yes. And the rhythm guitar was Robin Imam Shah.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
I used to be in the back crying. Nobody know I play that.
Yeah. Everyone go think it's Robin.
Listen, whenever that thing play, the crowd go, and I look at this man, boy, this man tipping on my shine, boy. that was good game.
Yeah. You put men on the sit down and learn your style.
Up to today, whenever a song play, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, boy, yes.
Good try. This guy did the beginning of High Mass. Tony was there.
Right, yeah.
Tony was there. And up to now, some people can't play that.
Yeah.
They can play something like it, but it's not that.
Yeah.
Because there's a particular way to play that riff for it to be true.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Of course.
So,
yeah, you come from Walter School of Music. All the fellas riff should be taught.
You have to come good.
Yeah.
That is the song. You know what I mean?
Like I saw a performance Machel was doing somewhere in New York. I'm not sure if it's the Madison Square Garden show. One of them shows he was listening to that band. It wasn't his band, so I'm not sure what the show was. But the band was playing Too Young to Soca. And he was trying to get them to play and the band can't find it, boy. And I always remember him saying, always a band. This is iconic music from iconic artists. And only don't know these phrasing.
Yeah, boy.
You know what I mean? I wonder how much people know it now, because you think even in the producing and arranging argument, I could see now when you describe it why they just use the word loosely producer for whoever, because everything happened on a computer, whereas Oli was...
Yeah, you thought actually...
It's had nobody to produce.
I remember Leston did Too Young to Soca. I play guitar on that. And those days, the rest of score.
Right.
You know, the score is there, but the vibe, the feel, they say, play it like that or play it like this, or give me this kind of strum. Do this. Do this wildness. Do this. And give me a riff in between here and, you know, shape the music. Shape it. You know, you're molding it like clay, so at the end you have a nice sculpture here. But now, press a button, cut face. I saw a guy saying that, you know, nowadays music, it have no life because you do a verse and you just take that verse and you drop it.
Repeat. Same thing.
I stand my bass man, I say, yeah, but play whatever you feel. Give me the riff for what I want, but after that, play. Enjoy it. I will cut it and move it to where I want. So it mustn't sound like as though
stiff.
Is it jung. The man who's scoring the music can say, Kenny boy can't score that bass line at all, boy. It's all over the place. I see, just take it first verse. And that's the basic pattern. But just for the sound, you hear the first verse already. You want when you get the second verse, you hear something, oh, that's nice.
That's the things you hold on to,
Yeah.
Like Colin Lucas was saying, the stories in music gone missing.
Yeah.
And I feel like the stories in the music itself, not just the lyrics. Yeah, because, so Too Young to Soca, for instance, right? You turn out to be an iconic song in the moment. I don't know how much you know, because he had to be very new. When he came into the studio to record that, he's not Machel Montano that we see in today, right? There's a little boy coming to record a song.
No, he was a little precocious little boy.
Oh, yeah, people, you know he's special there?
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, he was special. He and I go, way. I give it. I even get that stuff.
No, yeah.
called me the other day when he did the not the Madison, not the Apollo. He did his birthday or something. And
right, yeah.
Right. And he went through all his music. So he calls me
Barclays.
after that. It's well,
it's not Barclays?
No, Kennedy Center.
Okay.
Big something. He said, hey boy. And we call one another Macarene, right? Right? So we used to say, I's the Macarene, boy.
Yeah.
How is the Macarene? So he said, Macarene, when we play that your song, boy, people screaming. I said, what's that, boy? He said, by all means, boy, when we play that, the people go, ah. He said, I didn't know it had so much juice in that song. And we laugh. We used to talk them kind of shit. But that song, Machel used to work with Leston, Pelham, the big boys, even Frankie McIntosh.
Really did.
He used to work with them when he came out, it was Leston.
Right.
And then, and after Too Young to Soca, really and truly had decent songs, but no mega hit.
Yeah, it took some time.
So he was always saying that the Star Records pack up. They just had to print records.
Yeah, I guess.
So when he went and studied studio engineering and stuff in Ohio. And he said, when he finished the course, he said, I get a placement in a studio in Club Med, which is Bahamas.
Right.
That's a fantastic placement. So like, okay. I go in and I retire and I say, what stupid is you talking about? He's 19 years old. I can't retire at 19. You see, but Kenny,
it's working.
It's only money spending and nothing happening, you know what I mean? Because all them days, you was fighting for Airplay. You didn't have Airplay like how it have it for some people now.
Right.
So, you say, have you have a hit, but if you have a hit, I say, but you went with everybody, you never give me a chance. I do your Christmas song.
Soca Santa.
I do Soca Santa, I do the ecstatic medleys.
By that time, Soca Santa, you're producing a song, you're doing it as producer or just play it?
Producer.
Yeah. Okay.
So I said, well, let me produce a song for you. And he tell me plain, me really like your style, I said, well, no problem. When you challenge me like that,
He can't tell you no. There's a problem.
I mean, I registered in the back of my door. You don't like my style? Okay. So, you want me talking real shit? Mine, we in the kicks. So, I said, all right. And we started looking for songs. And somebody found this song. People used to bring cassettes with songs to place. And we got a song called Bass It Down. That was the side A, actually. Bass It Down. And the flip side was, by all means, it is time to party. And we going down and by all means, pop, pop, ba-da, pop, ba-da, pop, pop, do, pop, pop, ba-da, pop. Yeah, I was raised in, but and then remember they bring all the puppets and all that. Listen now. Go on.
Yeah,
go on. I did Machel for 3 years straight. By all means, left, right, back, push. Take a borrow, pay back tomorrow. Right. And I think that at that time there, I introduced them to my son.
That
was it.
That's a different era, right?
That was it. I think he did Big Truck the year after that. So I did those 3 years. But then my little son was in the fray.
How old you would be? Big Truck is 97, I believe.
My little son started producing at 10. My big son, I say,
Yes,
started
Casey.
producing at 10, Casey. And the first production was Iwer George. I run the party. I run the party. I said, Iwer, Casey gonna handle these sessions and thing, right? Kenny, that little boy, you sure you can handle it? I say, hey, don't worry your head now. And I threw him in. But I didn't throw him in. He was...
Yeah, see, done bad already.
Take over. You know, when he was in Pampers, when we did Jump and Wave.
Preacher.
Yeah, he was chucking, right? And the preacher was pamana, 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 rap. My son pull out a plug. Pam.
To make that stop?
Pamana, 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 rap.
Jesus
Christ. Jump away, jump away.
Nah. Serious.
Listen to me.
You know my boss.
Listen to me.
Jesus Christ.
Men tell me, one, that jump and wave is too fast. You can't play that speed. That's too fast. I said, no, that will never play. No. No. Two, you see that stop? It will never play past that stop. That stop too long. I said, what? Just leave me. Let me do my thing. Come on, please. The rest is history. The rest is history. I have pictures of my little son in Pampers in the studio. I have a picture of my son, my big son. Well, the little one is the same thing now.
Okay.
Worse. Okay, I'm getting in the studio right now.
Oh, he here?
He's here.
Yeah, okay.
Here. I tell you, Casey about 8 road march.
Right.
Kyle had 2. Kyle...
Yeah, come in.
Kyle have 2 road marches.
So you're saying that's all it dominates as a family?
I know about all of that.
From the early 80s.
I hear what that. I heard that talk.
I want to be the one to say it. If you ain't going to say it.
I heard that. I don't know how much you say.
Because we had to give people context. When you say you given 11 Casey handle Iwer, and I will respond that way, is because you and I will work together on Iwer Originals, Boom Boom Time.
First song I ever do was Boom Boom Time.
Oh, as a producer?
First song I ever produced in my studio. Listen, I had nothing. I had a 12-channel board. I had a sequencer. I had a Commodore 64. That was the sequencer.
Right.
Commodore 64. Right? I had the tape and the stripe, the track 8.
Yeah.
And, do the maths. And when I done do this song, I called Frank Agarat.
Right.
You know Frank Agarat?
Yeah, I know the name, yeah.
You know the name?
Yeah.
Frank Agarat built Eddie Grant studios in Barbados and in England. Frank, I lost. I don't know what I'm doing.
Frank, we called him for help.
What? Frank is the kind of guy who would come. Frank just leave recording on a 72-channel SSL board, right? With 2-inch tape in a big plantation in Barbados.
Yeah, of course.
You understand?
Yeah, Eddie Grant is Eddie Grant them
right.
time, yeah.
And Frank would come and sit on my little 12-channel board.
I'd figure it out.
I like, no difference. No difference in the attitude. The attitude is like, okay, let's go. 12 channels, stupid board. And Frank, they're like, okay, real professional. And he mixed that first song for me. We had nothing.
Yeah.
The brass was an sonic synthesizer.
I see.
And Iwer came, the song was I meet an Indian in South, running up she mouth. She says, like, man, find me and she long for the carnival. And he the festival. That was the song. That was it.
Oh, that's all they had?
That's all he had. I said, no, man. You need more. You need more. If the boom boom big, boom boom small. We afraid of matter. Boom boom big, boom boom small. I put in my son all windy.
That make the song.
Listen, but that's why I thought a producer would do. I'd bring hooks, bring thing.
Right.
That's why I knew. And that's what I was doing. I ran into real trouble with that doing.
Yeah.
Real trouble. Some men say you interfere in my song.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But I'm a work. I'm a job. My job is to make the song a hit. Find a way to make the song a hit. And that was the first song, brother, man. Imagine Carnival Tuesday newspaper. Iwer George way ahead in the road march race. I say, what?
Yeah. He inside.
What? You gonna talk to me? You can't talk to me, boy. Boom. Ash Wednesday. Duke and Ellis Shonen on this collecting the road march. I'm like, what happened?
Something went wrong. Yeah, just to, again, context. It's on Facebook, no, not there. Wait till the next morning for people.
I like,
it's thunder. We've only hold it tonight. Yeah.
I like, I remember this song, when Boom Boom Time play, it's only dust in Skinner Park. I'm like, what happened here? What really happened? That is what I understand in the politics and the...
Of course, yeah.
Iwer was... What is that Iwer, George?
Yeah, I guess at that point, Iwer now coming on the scene too with you. Yeah, people don't know. Yeah.
First song, nobody knows him. I mean, jump up to bad the song. I mean, everybody play the song, but
yeah, the radio.
You can't just go and win this.
No.
You mad?
So yeah, Iwer and Kenny, just so.
Listen, and people used to get our records in the radio station and throw it in the split. Where this come from? The guy in South. And I mean, granted, we wasn't good. It wasn't that good,
right?
But it was good enough, and we wouldn't know how good we are unless we hear it.
Of course, yeah, they keep
like,
coming back. Yeah.
Okay, we need to do that. And always improve. But no, listen. When I got into the business, it didn't have no. You had to be a Lord this, or like Lord Laro or Lord Kitchener or Almighty somebody. I said, no. When I come in there, Iwer George, Rikki Jai, Machel Montano, Drupa T. You understand? I put normal names.
Because
it had to go to New York. You used to have to record it and go to New York to mix. That was it, you know.
Yeah.
Put your tape under your arm and go to New York.
Real.
I said, no, I can't afford that. I cannot afford that. We gonna make this thing happen right here. And boom.
Yeah.
Change the game.
So Iwer at that time, you know him, your partner from around all
he just appear by my house.
Yeah. So you know you're doing music and
he come. I'm a man doing music and ting.
Like how you went by the bands.
Yeah. I look in. Iwer and Preacher came together.
Serious?
Yeah. They were best of partners. Preacher and Super Blue, best of partners.
Yeah, Preacher and Super Blue, that era. That just go back to that Preacher, right? That was so special when you hear that. I had to tell you, like a little boy in St. James. Another thing I used to argue with Daddy, I had to wrong like hell every time I argue with him. Just like you tell me about your sons, right? But I was telling you before we started, he used to tell me, boy, anytime Super hold a song, he go on again. And this is 2010 kind of time. And when you grow up in St. James, the road march is not a nice thing. Because you're beaten with that song over and every truck that passed, whole day.
Yeah.
And I remember when Super Blue was doing things like Bacchanal Time and them things, it was, you just hear it here. And it gets to be a jump and wave era that you say, but you won't hear no jump and wave.
Yeah.
But when that Preacher come, it's the opening, you know.
Yeah.
It's the opening, and it's the same thing I saying about thing like Feeling It and thing. I always
fascinated. Iconic openings. And I want to do a program on that iconic opening.
Please.
It's like Spice. Them kind of thing.
Yeah.
They give me the thing. That just takes you somewhere. Them things to be planned, you know.
Sugar Boom Boom too, you know, that's so long and just stay in a groove there for so long before you say anything.
Yeah. Almost a minute and a half of just music.
You played it too?
Huh?
You played it too?
No,
okay, all right. Just making sure.
I'm too young for that.
Just making sure. You know what I mean?
But I have played the Kitchener.
Yeah, see, I simply that over there. Or even, you know, it's one of them too, like, Johnny, you come inside of this party.
Yeah.
When you hear the opening to some of them.
Yeah.
It's the signature of who we are.
Have that beautiful, happy music that we have, you know, that does something to you, you know, and people outside don't understand it, but this is our thing. This is us.
I always feel if we stay authentic to that, they go start to understand it. No? I feel sometimes when we stray to it to match something else.
Yeah, to get. Well, that was the only thing with Shorty. I work with Shorty too, right?
Watch out, my children.
Watch out, my children. Yeah.
I like how you just say these things in passing. I work with Shorty too.
Well, here the greatest. Never get this story. This is a good one. I pick up my whole machine. There was a 16-track machine at the time.
Right.
Big machine, big reels. Pick up that machine, put it in my car, and carry it up to Box Calypso tent down on the 4 show. Shorty is performing.
Right.
So we plug up from the mixing board and take all the channels in. So I have Shorty's performance, a whole performance. It wasn't just a one song, but Watch Out My Trend was one of the songs. Then take back the thing, go back in the studio, and then we do over this, we do over that, we do over drums, we do over this, we do over everything. and we build Watch Out My Children. Produce that. Now, Shorty's not an easy man. You know, when he come in, he consumes the place.
Presence, yeah.
Yeah. So you have to deal with that. And anyway, boom, mix, Watch Out My Children. And it even have with all the tag and everything down to the end where he was thanking the people, right? So your boy, so he's saying, I like to thank, who's the engineer? Tony? Is it Tony is his name? Right. And I like to thank this one. I like to thank that one. I like to thank. And then he say, so remember I pick up my hose too. I like to thank the man who's responsible for me being here tonight. Without this man, I wouldn't be here. So my boy started. My maxi driver, Max Duvalverde. What?
You're right, you would not be here. Hey. Well, you see why you had to come here? So we could get all the credit that you missed.
No, he eventually said
he's going to reach you.
Eventually.
It's funny.
That was real funny.
Yeah.
That was real funny. That was good.
I was asking you when I was talking about Shorty too, with Shorty taking the chances he took. You know, they talk about the founder and creator of Soca. Like the youths now is talking about Mount Rushmore, who's the four heads of Soca.
Whoa.
And they talk about him a lot. Let me hear your Mount Rushmore now.
What? No, I'm going to tell you about Shorty, what he tried. Shorty was always believing of this integration of the Indo and the Afro. Right? The albums before the Indrani and the Sweet Soca and whatnot, he had done some mad things. He was singing Kaiso.
Right.
And inside the Kaiso, chikiningi, Shorty bring a dolak and a dantal.
Oh, dantal.
Inside. He I was at Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah,
a whole album of Kaiso with dantal and dolak.
Right.
And everybody thought, this man mad. This man crazy. And that one hit song to me, one hit song came out of it, and it was a Chutney, which would be Kilo Ji Bulbul. That was because that meshed.
Right.
But the rest of them, it was crazy.
Confused.
It was crazy. Like, what is he doing? But he was finding something, trying to find his way.
Right.
Until he got to the sweet music and the Indrani and the, you understand? Because what had happened was, when you took those records, our Calypso records, to New York and tried to play it in the clubs, we had a kick, but we had no snare. So we that's the kind. So then, so we didn't have no cat, didn't have no snare, no pulse. That was Kaiso.
Yeah.
Shorty wanted a pulse. Now, mind you, Shorty was not the only man working on Kaiso to bring it to Soca at the time. It had King Wellington.
Right.
It had Frankie McIntosh. It had Eddie Grant. It had Pelham Goddard and Ed Watson. A lot of them were doing the work, trying to find the way. Shorty happened to name it.
Right. Yeah.
If you name it, you claim it.
Of it, of
right.
course.
King Wellington was my real partner. He had it. It was called Russo Funk. Russo Funk. But not too hard. You understand?
Yeah, I guess it's catchy enough. Yeah.
You know? Ed Watson was doing. And if you listen back to the Soca, early Soca, it had times where they wasn't sure if the Soca was tuck, 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 tuck. If you listen to some of the beats, you hear this cowbell going tuck, 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 tuck. If that was the Soca, or what was the Soca in the Soca?
Trying to find
everybody had their own. Ed Watson had his groove. He had a bad groove. Errol Ashe and
worries.
But Shorty named it.
Right, yeah.
So he claimed it. And it was SOKA8.
I remember. Yeah.
So it eventually now became SOCA. But Shorty named it.
Yeah. SOCA and Solar Calypsonians. Right. Yeah. So branding is everything.
Branding is, he named it. So like some of the things that you was telling me yesterday, say, but you did this, I just put a name to what I was doing.
Right.
But I don't go out there saying, you're mad?
You should, because I want to ask you about that, because I was asking you.
You finished your Mount Rushmore?
No, you have your Mount Rushmore?
No, I don't have a Mount. Well,
who's it for?
Before what? Top.
Yeah, and the faces of soca creators. Because what the argument now is, when you look at who they would have put on the Mount Rushmore in the US, they have 4 people, if you could credit with the greatest soca artists of all time. And one of the arguments is, Shorty must be there because he's a creator. And some people say, but you could say Wellington, you could say Nelson, you could say so many different names.
If you're talking creators of it,
right,
it wouldn't be performers, it would be creators.
Right, yeah.
I would put Shorty. I would put King Wellington. Right. I would put Frankie McIntosh. I will definitely put Edwardson. And I would put
4 in also. Who's the last one? Pelham there too?
Pelham.
Yeah, I suppose.
So some of you others crunch them up. Make them fit.
Yeah.
Make them. They were working on it. Even though some people claim, Eddie Grant is claim, he's always claimed.
Yeah,
he's always claimed. But no, because he used to be here.
Yeah.
He used to be here a lot. And remember he had that whole dance party and California style. And he was in it.
You had to
say. But
it's like most of the things when you talk about Pan, who invent Pan is never be one person.
Well, right. Men were working on things in their own silos,
Well, that's what the Yankees understand.
Spree Simon was the man who actually make it happen.
Yeah.
Even though somebody was doing it there, somebody
of course, yeah.
And that was amazing what them do in their layman brains. What Spree Simon and the next one, Anthony Williams, do in a layman brain.
Yeah, just figuring it out as you go.
I'm gonna put this in thoughts. What? How you figure that out?
Yeah.
You understand? That's not a layman brain. That's a scientific brain. We underestimate our own people.
Well, that's for sure. You check the last budget, like what culture and them things, guys. Just read it last and all. It's where it is.
I have this saying that we do things, right? And if we take, we're supposed to take the watchwords of the country, discipline, tolerance, production, as the watchwords of Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
We need to change them watchwords. Yeah. We do things in spite of. We need to put it in spite of. We do things. Itahano, we're going to do it in spite of all your blockages. We do it.
We're going to make it up.
We're going to make it happen.
Well, we learned that about you today. No? If there's anything anybody going to take away here, don't tell Kenny he can't do something is a problem. I want to point here too that when you talk about Chutney Soca, I'm doing it and I'm reading and I'm listening and that thing. I want to say, but you create this Chutney Soca thing.
You saying that, not me.
I ask him.
Okay. Now mind you, I work with Sumintra, all right? I work with Harry Mahabir. They record in the studio and thing.
Right,
so
okay, gotcha.
I work with them. So I know them. Drupati Ramgunai, if Iwer was the first, Drupati might have been the second or the third hit.
Oh, okay.
Coming up from Iwer, Drupati or Rashoti. Then Rikki Jai, Show Me Emotion, and them kind of things, right? And well, I'm talking about hits of the year.
Right.
Because Drupati came second in Road March, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't even know that.
I didn't know
I have
that
a few seconds well, Oh, boy. Super Blue beat me so bad. The only place Super Blue beat me is on my foot, It was an ongoing battle at the time between Eddie Grant, Eddie Grant Studio and Super,
right?
And Preacher.
Nice. Yeah, you coming now.
We catch them only 1 year. 1 year.
Unstoppable.
But I came second a few times. Drupati was second. I think Rikki Jai was second on a show. Oh Donkey would have been second.
Oh Donkey is you too. You see what I'm saying?
I have a few seconds. Right? So anyway, we talking about, what were we talking about?
No, we're talking about that working with Drupati.
Right.
In our first time.
So Drupati, I used to work in the bank.
Right.
Husband used to collect salary in the bank.
Right.
So we get to talking and he'd say his wife, his name was Jay, his wife is sing Chutney and he want to record these, this wasn't Chutney, it was Indian songs.
Right.
Indian songs with a soca calypso beat. A calypso beat, wasn't it soca?
Yeah,
a calypso beat.
Them time, yeah.
I said, yeah, no problem. That's what I just do. According to Sprang Along, this is what we does. It's no problem. Cool. And we started, we work, and we did songs. And I did the music like I normally do for calypsos and things. You do the music for these Indian songs.
Right.
Now, Jawan, and we do the whole album and ting. They used to put it on the cassette and nice. That done good. Then he come and say, let we put English to one of them. I said that plan because it's already Kaiso.
Yeah. And them days at no Indian radio station, those things playing on radio and thing?
I think they had always an Indian radio
station. Oh, they did?
Always.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Always. Or segments.
Okay, got you.
Okay. Right? But they had their cassette market.
Got you, I see.
They had the market.
Yeah,
so like when you're going in the market and people, you hear
yes, okay.
Right. They had their place. And we say, okay. And I called Carly because that was my batch day. If we had to write a song, it's me and Carly. I said, let me go now. And he actually penned the words, Chutney, Soca. It's Chutney, Soca. It's Chutney, Soca. Is that where I'm whining down so? Wow, I wonder if you remember that, boy. Wow. Son, Chutney, Soca. That was the first time I heard those words put together.
Eckhart Jacobs.
Yeah. And we went with that. And it was big song.
So they create a genre.
I didn't say that.
I just asked him.
I didn't say that. Whatever. Because I know if I say, yeah, boy.
You know it coming. You know it coming.
Who he feel he is. I not saying nothing.
We just here to ask. We just here to clarify.
No, I tell you what I do. I don't know who was doing, everybody's doing something.
Of course, yeah.
I did what I did. You know what I mean?
And Mr. B says so. That was coming right after that?
No. Well, yeah, actually. That's Drewing. Because she did the album there, and then when she sang that English song, it's like, okay, well, let me do it. Then my real partner now, Casman, Wayne McDonald, say, I have a song, I say, let me go.
Right.
It has always been, a problem to me, mixing the tassa with the African drums.
Right.
They sound good for a few minutes, or a few seconds, and then this one want to pull on, that one want to pull on. It is start to make a mishmash.
Right.
To keep it together is a hard work.
Cohesive,
It's a hard work. So doing Bisasa was a job.
Yeah.
Because the Tassa played,
He gone.
Yeah.
He ain't taking too much production.
Hold it. Because it is tended not here. And it's probably is an indication of the society and Trinidad and Tobago, Oh.
Go any direction.
You understand? Who in charge? Who leading?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we held it together, and actually, the only other person, only two people played on that was the bass man. I think the bass man was either Neil Lealock or Panky Boynes, and Carl and Carol, I think, sing chorus, and that was it. I think I played everything else. Yeah. I had my guitar synthesizer, so I used to play like all that line. It was a kind of ocarina kind of tone would make it sound East Indianish, and that was interesting.
You just talk about these things in a kind of way, like, boy, listen.
Like how?
When I put the clip, you'll see what I mean, right? You just put these things in passing. So Rikki Jai, how that come about? That was sometime after that, yeah?
Rikki Jai was it was the next year. And
that was right after?
That was not...
So only going into the genre, that's all they created, deep diving in it.
Right.
Good.
When Rikki would have heard Trupati, and then he talk is, I did Chutney man, that's the man.
Of course.
Rikki came with a Kaiso, written by GB, Sumintra. Ping, 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 ping. But that was Kaiso. Sumintra born in a shocking day. So, but we put the elements, You know, I like to mix the elements. I love a dolak or a tabla in a reggae or a calypso.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's like shorty.
Yeah, beautiful. It mixes. Once it do not overbearing and it do start to pull you. It's like, did you hear Rikki Jai's songs this year?
Yeah, the calypso. Yeah. You do that.
Yeah.
Who writes it?
Kurt.
Oh, it's Kurt.
Yeah.
I wish you was here. Kurt was here last week.
I know.
Oh man, that's a bad song.
Kurt is a machine.
Bad song.
It's called Kurt ChatGPT.
I see you tell Kurt. I say, boy, a man now comes second in the thing. The next time we see him, is we'll go and lost again. I say, boy, the level is cold. Man trying to catch this.
You can't even win a competition, boy.
Well, you can't tell Kurt that, no, because you say you win one road match. But now you confess that it's really Casey when you road match, and so
no. The road match.
The preacher?
Casey. No.
It's not Casey pull out the plug and
no, but he didn't plug. He plug when he road match.
You know what I mean? Is that a pop?
No, that is stop. But the horns are
that opening is one of them.
Listen, that came from the guitar. Ting-a-ding. Hey, that bad boy.
And he plays on the horns.
Yeah.
This man just talking about these things like they're normal. So before you go back to Rikki come in the first song, he now coming out the gate.
Yeah. Sumintra.
Yeah, and that opening as again, and the opening line with Sumintra, Bonana, Shaq and David, and parents from Indian Walk. It's just so Trinidadian.
It's
oh man.
They paint the picture. GB is a
GB is a
fantastic writer.
Help him to get him here now. He's
I have a number,
yeah, good. He's something else with writing. And then Rikki and them went and do a video on San Fernando Hill. And
that was Alison Ayres and Rikki Jai. Yeah, and the girl. It was just, that was before its time, doing that kind of video and that kind of thing.
I guess.
Yeah. A lot of things we were doing were before its time.
Yeah.
You know? And then after that, Rikki did Show Me Emotion.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. And that was a cartoon.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Before its time.
Yeah, I guess.
Rikki was doing them kind of thing.
Before.
Yeah.
Long before. So you continued over them times contributing to it. Can you have a hard out to it? Because people who are recording now, Trinidad playing Jamaica today as I start with, right? And I know you had to go and so.
Yeah.
Well, you also tell me you play Road to Italy for Super Blue.
Police. Yeah, we produced that. That was Alison Ayres came with that song. And Super Blue was the man. Dribble down the.
Yeah, like Colin was talking about football dance. They had football dance. They had Road to Italy. Lancelot Lane do one.
A lot.
Yeah, hoping
we were real.
What going on with that? Like Soca Warriors, with Maximus and them 2006. Even before that, as a matter of fact,
we do a lot of songs.
Yeah,
songs. You look at the election just going, how much songs they had for this party and for that. We do songs. We do songs to support and to push.
Right.
You know. Like I did, there was a year in an election, I did every party team song. PNM, NER, NNV.
Yeah.
I can't remember what UNC was called at the time. Whatever it's called. Right. I did a song.
Right.
And I used to sit down and watch it. Like, that's the fun, you know. Sit back and watch your work.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, could I do this? Yeah.
You see plenty government get bring down right in all your room down.
That is so true. That is so true. I mean, people might think, oh, you're being egotistical, but it's true. The song, they start the ball rolling. Like, there was a time, shouldn't give you this story. Should not give you this story. How could I say this? There was a time, a particular Calypsonian came with a parang, and his song was saying, "Hello, Joan Yule. I keep calling you like a fool, but since all you win, you change all the numbers. I can't find all you, right?" And the Calypsonian was a staunch PNM, and he's complaining on PNM, saying that they've left me. I was there with you and they're gone. And I know Joan Williams is responsible for me having my radio license, so I know her.
Of course.
So I would call her and say, Tanti Joan, a man have a song here.
It's stinging.
I think you need to talk to this man. And because if this song come out, and it was a year when the party wasn't looking so good, and the election didn't call yet, it was to call. And she say, send him to me. Ting, 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 ting. And she pay off that song and kill that song right. They both
serious.
Yeah. Because it happens, the songs, the music does it. It start. See Kurt's song this year? That start the movement, you know.
I was telling them that. And I like how it reference. For instance, you say you call Eric Duffy, you call Chambers Dancy. Yeah. That's them songs, Chambers Dancy. He just stayed dancing.
Actually, he wasn't dancing.
No, he wasn't.
But we make it dancing.
Of course, yeah.
There are a lot of things. They say somebody's a rumbo and they drink, and that is this picture we paint onto you, and it stay.
Of course, it stay.
It stay. So even, the songs does it.
That's why I like what they're doing with the Kurt was talking about the series they're doing with coming up with topics and coming to the calypso. I was telling him he do that puck thing last time with Donald Trump. And that just keep unfolding like that story getting worse every week. with his attitude towards me. Just keep going up. Bad. And even when I look back at some of the monarchs, like Krokro in particular, when he did Common Entrance, Corruption and Common Entrance, it's like the society know how to pay attention to what the thing is. But you seeing that before we see it. You seen it early.
You remember there was a genre we interfere with that we call political parang. I want a wedding, a Douglas wedding. Remember that? That was Krokro. Some parang we do.
But that's our next genre you create again. And you also create Ragga Soca too. I just asked it, Mika.
I know that.
The first Ragga Soca to your recollection is what?
The first Ragga Soca actual went in actually to be Ragga Soca was a preacher called Wine Up.
Right. But
they had Ragga in a calypso that became a kind of Ragga Soca. Was Iwer as well. The flip side of the boom boom time was time hard, hold tight. When you're selling cigarettes on the wrongs about. I will never forget them.
Like Daddy always used to tell me when he was playing in Kitchener and Singing Sandra, and he said, Iwer came with that. He said that was the song he did to
that was the A-side.
No, he said that was the A-side? Boom Boom Time was B-side?
Yeah.
Well,
remember back in them days, them kind of speed and that kind of thing wasn't the norm, you know. There was a kaiso, you know.
Oh, wait till
you have to work a little harder. And we bring in Papa Percy. What's the chanter, man?
The chant.
Yeah,
I used to like a chant back then too. It was like there plenty.
That chanting, we pull that from a while.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about, it's called Ragga because that a Ragga man chanting
in the song
on the kaiso or the soca or whatever.
all
So
right, so they create that too with a question mark behind it, right? So he tell him Iwer come with that tune. And out the sheet music and sing and they play it and Kitchen them say, all right, you're inside. Kitchen pretend they say this man, say you're inside. And then he sort of hand out thing and this man say, well, what you doing? You're inside already, and that turned out to be Boom Boom Time.
Yeah. But Boom Boom Time came up after fast. Real fast. Even though they tell us this ain't gonna work.
Well, they can't tell you that. We established that. That could be a problem. Kenny, there's plenty of things we have to talk about with WACK too. We need a next day to do that. We need a whole next day to talk about now and that whole, because you had said in passing about the protesting for local music. We'll talk a little bit more about that. What was the organization?
That was Riot, the Recording Industry Association of Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
Well, actually, it's under 4%. And yet everybody working, everybody in studio, everybody doing music, there's only 4% playing, right? So we say, well, we need legislation, because everywhere else Canada has legislation. Canada has 50% legislation. Australia, everybody legislates to protect their industry.
Right.
Trinidad is one of the only places to have it. Even America has legislation. They don't need it, but they have it.
Well, we have legislation to protect some industries.
Some. Not the right ones, but some. So we decided we protesting, do a march. Was it march about 3 times? We do a march from Woodford Square right? And I ended up being the acting president at the time.
Right.
So I in charge. So we marched down Woodford Square, and we come back up, and we went by legal affairs and drop off a letter saying, request. And then we say we're going down by the number one radio station in the country, down the road and going down St. James Way. And we're going to deliver the letter by 96.1.
Right.
So this big march, I talk about big, and the right song on the spot, and the singing and
I see
vibes going down the road. We're going to deliver this letter. So I am in charge. I have to deliver the letter. And I feeling all right. I am an army. When it's time to hand deliver the letter, I feeling my army with me.
Right, yeah, you're strong.
Who could talk to me? You could talk to me. Go. And I walk in to deliver this letter, and I start to feel light. I look back. The army still. And I alone went by the security guard and hand this letter.
Yeah.
So I still feeling, well, hey, brother, let me tell you this. I was subsequently banned off of that radio station, any music, number one radio station in the country. The radio station that makes the hits.
Yeah, for the youths too, that was the spot.
Listen, it was so bad. Preacher came to me. No, this is after I went road marcher.
Right, okay.
After I went road marcher, right. Banned. And nobody say we banned, you just banned. Right?
Yeah, get blacklisted.
Yeah, blacklisted. But I was always a rebel and always too afraid to open my mouth and say what I say. So I had to survive through that period. It's like I'm a taxi driver and you say you cannot drive on the road. You understand? Well, how you to do?
Right.
You got to find a way. And I found a way. I used to produce for KMC. All Soul and Fire and all them kind of things. KMC I used to be the engineer. All the KMC hits. All the brand new, turned down, Obia Man, all them things.
That's Maximus?
Yeah, Maximus. That was a KMC rhythm.
All right, it's true. It's true.
All them things. All them things. And that's how we survive. But life is funny. Life is so funny. I have lived to see the day where people who ban me come to my radio station for Airplay.
Yeah. Look at that.
I yeah. Not true, man.
Yeah, you that.
I can't do the same. I can't do the same thing. If I do the same thing, I'll be just as.
Of course, just like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
But go fast forward into today again before we wrap up. You responsible for when you talk about Rikki Jai. I say, before you come here carrying a shake all. So you still responsible for a lot of these songs that would go into the Calypso arena, Calypso and Kaiso.
Yeah, well, I do Kaiso. I am not a Soca man.
No.
My sons is a Soca man. Right? I cannot do that what I'm doing there. Can't do it. I will do songs. I have to do songs. For me right now in my life, I need to do something that have meaning and have sense and, so more likely, I'm not saying that they don't have it, but they don't have enough.
Here. Okay.
Right, Casey? Right, Kyle? But
they will come here at some point.
Yeah, let's go.
So they go and say
I was saying the clash. The clash between me and them. I sung off.
That bad already.
Listen.
Oh, man.
Listen, that was amazing. At that time, Kyle only had about 2 songs. But he did
he coming with bombs,
Yeah, bombs now. So I was telling him before we went down there. The Calypso, we will find songs for people and actually produce. Like if we see you a good artist and then we say, hey, we have a song for you.
Okay.
And we produce you and we take a percentage of the winnings.
Right.
If you win, we take a percentage. If you don't win, we all lose.
I see.
Right. So for this season going here, we had about 6 people in the 6 or 7, 6 people in the semis and 3 people in the finals. Right. The 6 in the semis were Pharaoh, Twiggy, Corie Pascal, not Corie Nashe. Corie Pascal, Kurt Allen, Rikki Jai, and somebody else. I can't remember right now. Somebody else. And from that, going to the finals, we had Kurt, Rikki, and Twiggy.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So when we home again with one another on social media, the fellas do all these songs and we fight one another.
No, the song is the song. You know what I mean?
I find there's a resurgence in the last few years. I was telling Kurt about that too. Yeah,
there is.
Same thing in the rhythms and the fets.
The calypso has done this, and the soca has done this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the soca is now merging into the calypso. In fact, I have a session tonight with some soca men doing horns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we missed that, boy.
Yeah.
We missed
Nobody bring it back now.
Yeah, you hear it a lot this year. This year, last year, you start to see the change.
Yeah. But horns does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a point in time that the Bajans was dominating the horns in the production.
Bajan has slowed down the music and sweeten up the music. But we was going bat out of hell speed. And,
yeah. It went a different way.
Yeah.
But the tent was such, like the backbone of the competitions at a point in time was the tent.
Yeah.
Is it something you feel we could see come back to life?
Yeah, but it had to have some changes.
Mm-hmm.
The tent can't operate how it operated now. These long ass songs that and too much partner singing anything where, you know, when you sing I go in the bathroom. No. Everybody who sing had to have a killer song.
Right.
I have 20 years service and qualify. You know, that we belittle it by put in an easy treasurer or put in qualify with a good song and let the people get good entertainment.
Yeah.
Don't bring down the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wish I had my way where I could fire some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some of them need firing so they could go back home and work.
Come again.
I had a partner who used to go to the tent, the auditions and stand and watch and say, wait, that's a good idea, you know, if he only finished that song. The man singing his song.
No, that's just...
Yeah. I like the art form.
Right.
I love a great calypso. And sometimes you have a good idea and it's not a great calypso. They didn't finish it.
And some
of them can't take, hey, what? Who's you? Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Finish your song. That's a great idea. Finish your song.
Yeah, you know, Mary Ashby was talking about that a little bit when he was here. He was saying that because you could do everything home, they're not going through the filter. People like yourself who could tell you.
And your whole family tell you, that good boy.
Oh, you mean if your family could tell you, you're a big artist?
That good boy. Yeah, real good. And when you get bottled, you're like, nobody tell me. Everybody say you're good.
Of course. Well, brother, listen, I want to see that game later, you know, and I don't watch it by you, so I had to let you go so you can
Yeah, what you need to.
But listen, this was our pleasure. I feel like we only touched the tip of the iceberg.
But you realize I was total feelings. I said, well, this man interviewing everybody, and he called me, boy. What can't tell you?
Ask Conrad. I say, Conrad, boy, tell me to be finished here. And he uploaded. I said, boy, Kenny Phillips, well, I wonder if he go come up the road, boy. He said, Kenny will come. Whenever you're ready.
I'll be here.
And so that's what you tell me. That's what you tell me. Underestimating these fellas' space here. They have everybody.
No, I came to look at this space. I tell you, see what I could teeth.
Yeah.
And then the teeth, you know what I mean? No, I like how everything, he developed something from nothing.
Yeah.
You understand?
Thank you.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, I ain't come here for you to be giving me all these credits and thing. You'll be no pom-pom girl.
Yeah. What do you mean? That's me. The first time somebody tell me Kenny Phillips play, because I know the name and Salt, radio station, all them things. And I know he has a producer and them kind of thing, but somebody tell me, I must see daddy. He say, but you know, play that thing. Is Kenny play that thing? I say, what? And from then, one of the blessings I find we have today is when you go on YouTube, sometimes people just put up the record.
Yeah.
So on the record, you could see who play and who sing. And even they have a fellow, you know, Lou Lyons from...
Very well.
He's read them record thing. And that's why I tell you I'm unprepared. Guys, watch Lou all the time, all his episodes.
I tell him we have to talk about his thing out. I like what you're doing.
Please, yeah, that would be great.
The problem is, you see, like you went far back. Some men just go from where they know.
Yeah.
Go from where they know.
Yeah.
You know, they had to go real deep.
Yeah, well, he going deep. And that's why I end up in trouble, because I just watching his episode last week and he say, and Kenny Phillips played the guitar. I said, what? And I think it was a merchant song.
He's a guitar freak. Yeah, he's a guitar zombie. Yeah, so he's asking me, like, you know, what guitar you use and where we talk guitar talk. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's why I tell you this story with what's his name? Nile Rodgers. Was such an important story to me.
Tell it now, you're here. I know you're going now.
Yeah, going now. Well, I went up to New York. And of course, I went looking for equipment because I was looking for something from a guitar sound. I always want my song to be a sound, right? So going into Samash and thing, and I look, I see a Ibanez Ultra Harmonizer, which would do something. So I say, boy. And I reach for the Ultra Harmonizer, and a man reached for the Ultra Harmonizer same time with me. And I'm like, yo, man. You say, okay, go ahead, man. You go ahead. And I look up, Nile Rodgers, some chic. You say, you buying that? I say, yeah. You say, I'm coming for that too, man. I say, right, man. And I realize because in them days, they didn't have no internet.
No, so you used to die in a magazine and you got for that.
You had to work that out in your brain. So we worked that out, that this is going to do this and it's going to, like you wouldn't have even heard it. You just know this is what you want to do.
Oh, God,
this is the motivation you want.
Yeah,
and that was the sound on Feeling It.
Yeah.
That effect.
That should be taught in schools now. Anybody who learn guitar should learn that. I will put that part in, right?
And Nile Rodgers has some of the most iconic guitar.
Plenty Diana Ross
guitar,
music.
That guitar and Diana Ross, I'm coming out. Ching, ching, ching.
Yeah, when you hear the two, you could say, something happened. Yeah, but brother, thanks. I'm glad you make the trek. The time was short. I'm going to check my list and make sure it's not was to ask that I ask. I think I could. I have a random question for you, we could put it or not. Merchant, you playing them too? That Build a Nation together.
No,
playing that guitar.
Build a Nation was Junior Warwood. In fact, Junior Warwood produced that.
Figure that shit out. That real
you
bad
know that
boy.
Junior Warwood and Tony was there.
Yeah,
responsible for me to get some licks in school.
What do you mean?
Let me tell you something. Last story and I'm going.
Yeah.
Don't keep my hair no longer. I was in Naprima College. Naprima College by the hospital. Right there. The promenade is right there. They used to have bandstand Calypso, right? Calypso on the bandstand, the police band. Tony Voze was playing, Junior Ward was playing. So them boys in school, hey, band on the bandstand, Kaiso, da. We gone. Lunchtime, we run down there and end up now holding on to the railings. The people come and consume the place. And we did tambour singing and this one singing and that one singing. Good Kaiso. But time gone. Lunchtime gone. And Kaiso playing. We can't leave. The crowd too thick. We can't come out. And we watching the time going down. And song on it busting.
Yeah, boy.
When it's done now. Say, all right, make the trek. Back up the hill. A whole bag of boy. Going up the hill in naps. And the dean comes and says, you all line up there. Every man jack line up. And there was so much of them, he couldn't really distribute the amount of licks he wanted to. So all he did was, come so, pow, pow.
Yeah,
pow, 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 pow. Everybody got double. Everybody.
I like that.
I got licks, boy. I got licks, okay, so boy.
I'm glad. Listen, continue taking the licks. We appreciate the licks you're taking also. I could come now and say you shape a whole era and then make sons who shape a whole era. I could pull them things out.
I know all of that. This was fun though, we laughed.